Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alex Klansko Sports, and I have a special guest with me here today for this video. Want to say hi?
Hello.
Yes, it is my podcast co-host, Jack. He and I are going to be ranking these Formula One drivers based on the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, if you didn't know the previous episode that I did a ranking based off of their current standing and the Silverstone Grand Prix. Today, we're just doing it based off of the Belgian Grand Prix. It was an interesting race, I would say that you'd say, yeah? Interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, it was as eventful as it could be to still end up in a Merc win.
Yep. It was, I would say, a good race. A couple of people had some great drives, so we'll talk about that. But our first driver we're going to get into is Arvid Lindblad, who finished P9. Got some points, did pretty well this race. I'll let you start with this first pick. Where would you put him, and then we can discuss if there's any disagreements.
For me, he's either a B or an A.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not high on most of the grid in this race, like relative. Like I feel like a lot of them were like kind of okay, but he was definitely on the good side of that. Had a good qualifying showing in a fast RB car to the point where like during qualifying, he was acting like they were a front-running team. He was like, "Nah, that's my run. Save a set of tires." Blah blah blah, and he ended up finishing a couple positions ahead of his teammate. So
yeah. I'm A-okay with putting him in A. He's been unbelievable so far. I don't have the championship standings pulled up. We're not doing this based off of the standings or the full season standings right now, but he currently sits in 11th. He's 17 points off his teammate Liam Lawson. A good rookie season in a car that wasn't as competitive in the beginning of the year. Has certainly become competitive as the season has gone on. It's pretty good.
yeah.
Next up, I'll do this next one. Franco Colapinto. I'm also going to put an A. I think for the car that he has, the overtake that he had on Gasly and Lawson in that race, we'll pull it up right here on the screen. It was an unbelievable overtake. And he is driving very well this season.
Yeah, I mean, he once again got out qualified by Gasly, even though Gasly kind of, took himself out in practice. But that pass really made up for anything else he could have done this weekend.
Yeah, and he sits 12th in the standings, 19 points, 3 points behind Lindblad in the RB. I think it's deserving for an A. Next up, we have Gabriel Bortoleto. I'll let you pick this one.
I mean, because he falls in the category of like, in my opinion, he just did what he should, right? Like he held on to it. So I think that's because in my book, that would be like, okay, start 9th or qualify 9th, not start 9th. Finish 8th feels like an expected weekend. But
so
I don't know if you
my mind
I don't know if you disagree.
I would put him at either high B or low A, only because that Audi isn't that competitive. Comparative to the Big Four, the Alpine is normally faster, and so is the RB. So that's 6 teams that are normally faster than the Audi at least. And qualified in the top 10 and finished in the top 10. So that I think is a good drive, especially when his teammate is in 13th.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, I think the gap to Nico, actually, I'm not terribly high on Nico, but I think that gets him into low A.
Low A? All right.
At least. Yeah.
We're going to have our first non-A in this one. Liam Lawson, I'm going to give a C. It's not a bad race from Lawson. He finishes basically right. I mean, no, not really just outside. Well, kind of. He finished 12th. And it's his first non-points race in a little bit, if I remember correctly. And he's had a good season so far, but Belgium just wasn't his track. Again, not bad, just outside the points, but in a car that it should be in the points every race. That's within the top 5 teams. I would expect more from him, especially as the veteran driver of that team.
Yeah, a veteran with an asterisk, but
yes, but
technically the veteran.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a race where, like, in qualifying, Arvid was racing like he was one of the big dogs. You know, he was out qualifying, like, in each session was up like 3 or 4 tenths on Lawson. And then Lawson obviously didn't make it to Q3. Where Lindblad, you know, only qualified 8th, but still, like, had a much stronger lap than Bortoletto.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the race, they were back-to-back for a little bit, and then ended up getting split by both Alpines in a way that I think that there was a lot of room for Lawson to improve.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's a good driver, but I think just this weekend wasn't his week. Next up, we have Ollie Behrman. Jack, would you like to do Behrman?
Behrman, I just don't know what to make of the Haas's.
Yeah.
Like, he almost made Q2, and that was the only thing that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Or, not... Sorry. Wrong. He barely made Q2, right? And that was the only thing that he did. Like that's good. That's good for him, you know, better than his teammate, I guess. And finished better than his teammate in the race, but he was fine. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, that's a C drive, but I feel like your tier list grades tend to skew higher than mine. Like, I certainly would put him ahead of Lawson for the weekend. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. Just because the Haas is not competitive. Comparative to the RB or the Alpine or the Audi. Like, the Haas is, like, in terms of worst cars, it goes worst Aston Martin, second Cadillac, third Haas, and then Audi, then Alpine, then RB, then
yeah.
I feel bad because he's a damn good driver, but he just doesn't have the car right now. Like, Haas has not gotten a good car. Early in the year, though, they had a decent car, and then I don't know what happened, but they just haven't been able to continue that. Like, at all. Next up, we have Isaac Hadjar. He's going in S tier. What a drive by Hadjar.
Served a million penalties.
Yep.
And had a tough qualifying.
Yeah.
But still went out there and you know, got Max to the front row in qualifying. Mm-hmm. And went out there and drove all the way back up to 6th in the race, despite starting from the back. Truly an inspired weekend from Hadjar.
And only 23 seconds off of the lead after all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of variable, especially with how much of this car is managing and how much it's affected by who's in front of you. But yeah, he definitely, you know, made quick work working his way up.
Yeah. Great race from him. Next up, Nico Hulkenberg. I'll let you take the lead on this one because of what you said earlier.
I mean, I feel like it's like opposite Behrman, where, like, he did what he was supposed to, but what is that? Like, I think that you could argue D tier in the sense that, you know, he was in a car that Bortoletto was able to get into the points, and he wasn't even, I shouldn't say he wasn't in contention. He was right at the back of that group of, like, 4. but it felt like the whole weekend he was a fair bit behind Bortoletto.
All right, we can throw him in D tier. He can be the first D tier person. Next up is Albon. I'm debating between high D and low C, just because like that Williams is not good, and he did outdo his teammate in the race, but
Not in qualifying, notably,
not
but in the
qualifying.
race, yes.
But in the race, he did best Carlos, and
Now, that is with Carlos having a penalty and
this is true.
damage and whatever else, right?
This is true. But
Carlos did have a penalty. Oh, no, he didn't have a penalty. I don't think, right?
he didn't. Albon just didn't look good all weekend. So I would put him in D, but above Hulkenberg. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's... No, I mean, Albon, I feel like, yeah, ID is fine. I just don't know what else he should have done in the car.
I don't know either. Like that car isn't good. Like the only people that were below him that finished the race were Aston Martin, Cadillac, and Haas.
Oh, no, okay, Sainz did take a grid drop. He just wasn't in the initial batch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that with the fact that Sainz ended up right behind him, after all that, D is fine.
Yeah. Kimi Antonelli. You can take this one.
I don't know where you'd put him other than S, just because, qualified on pole, won the race, despite perhaps not being the luckiest. Maybe for once this season. I'm kind of joking because he's had his car fail on him a couple times, but strategy-wise, it feels like it's always... I guess there was a time that he got past George. But it feels like we've had a couple notable times where it's benefited Ferrari over Kimi.
Yeah.
And this time he finally overcame that, I'll say, even though it was only a few seconds ever, so...
Yeah. But not a bad race. A very good race, actually. As Jack said, qualified pole, won it. Was dominant. There. Can't really do anything
Yeah, I
else.
mean, you quite literally can't ask for more.
Yeah. Lance Stroll, bottom of D. What are you gonna do?
This is where I don't know, like, if I feel like we should just have a separate category that's just called like Aston and Cadillac or something. Where like I don't think that he deserves to be graded badly for the fact that he's driving an absolute clunker.
You know what? That's fair. You know what? We'll do the overage. There we go.
And I say that, and Cadillac was at least kind of like the two Cadillacs were competing with Ocon in the Haas in Q1. Aston is still so far behind. Obviously their big upgrade package is next week. I don't know why I thought it was this week. I am stupid, but they were 2 seconds back in qualifying. It was
Listen.
There was never a chance.
That's better than last week or last race.
No, 2 seconds back of the Cadillacs.
Oh.
They were like almost 4 seconds back from.
I'm pretty sure they were 5
Kimi.
seconds back from
Or they were-
Silverstone. From pole.
Well, they were a little from pole. They were 5.5.
Yeah.
In Q1 versus the other high runners in Q1, they were a little over 4 seconds back.
Okay.
Damn. But I don't know what else he could have done.
Nothing really.
Car was slow.
Car always
Had to
slow.
retire with a clutch issue.
Yeah.
It's not like he was a wrecking ball. It's not like he, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Unlike
kinda
some
just-
drivers. George.
What?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay. I implore you to watch that replay.
I have. I
Or
just
take
don't.
off the glasses or something. I don't
did-
understand what
well,
you're
if I
talking
take off the
about.
glasses, it's harder to
We'll
see.
get there.
So,
Esteban, I think that he was so far behind Behrman that he's got to be in D tier.
Yep. Bottom.
He
Middle,
had
top.
yeah
Bottom. Okay.
bottom. You could argue that he could go ahead of Nico, but the incidents and being so far behind Behrman in some ways, I feel like bottom works for him.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it with my chest. WEC is coming for Esteban Ocon in the future.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Just saying. Just saying.
Dude, he would do crazy things in IndyCar.
Actually, that's a better one to go with. I'd rather see him in IndyCar. Next up, we have Pierre. I'll put him top of C. Or B.
I would argue that if we put Colapinto in A, then he belongs in B.
Okay.
He was
we'll
right next to him the whole time. Lost out on the 3-wide pass, but did qualify ahead. You can ding him for the crash, but he and Colapinto had near identical weekends. Just Colapinto had the highlight reel.
This is true. Okay. Pierre in B. Great race. Finished P11. He was less than a second behind his teammate. I think that's fair as well. Who's up next? Carlos Sainz. Jack, your turn with Carlos.
I feel like he goes basically right next to Albon. I mean, you could argue that he could go ahead, just because he took the penalty and then finished right behind his teammate. He, qualified ahead but took the penalty. I'll put him ahead of Albon, but I don't think that he goes any higher than D.
Okay. I agree that Williams is not good. Next up, George Russell.
I don't like.
To be fair, I don't actually know where to put him because he went out on lap uno.
I feel like B makes sense for him because he only qualified 4th.
Yeah.
And he was battling issues or whatever and started the rate. The whole reason that he was able to get wrecked was because he was objectively further back than the Mercedes should have been.
Yeah.
And at some point, you can get dinged for that regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that you can really penalize him too harshly for the fact that he got wrecked. Now, if you want to state your case,
I'm fine with him in B.
And then I'll happily rebut.
From what I saw from the incident with Lewis, Lewis passes him. Lewis is a whole car length ahead of him. And then from what I saw, George dives down the inside. And what it looked like to me is he went too deep in the corner and then
dives down the inside. They wrecked from the outside.
Wait.
George was on the outside.
Fuck, you're right.
And Lewis went out towards George.
Wait, hold up.
You can argue whether that's his fault or not.
Okay, sorry.
But
sorry. Hold up. No, chill. Chill. Well, from what, maybe I was watching it wrong, but I thought it was the inside that George was going to. No, George was going down the inside, was he not? Or was he on the outside?
I guess it depends which corner you're looking at.
Were they turning? Yeah, but their contact was when they were turning left. So that would mean George is on the inside. No? Did they not wreck on the left-hander? Hold up. I'm looking at this crash. Hold up. I swear that George crashed with Lewis on the left-hander.
I mean, the reason that I said, and I looked up a replay just to make sure I'm not going insane. The reason that I said that it depends which way you're looking at it, I was counting it. They were coming off a right-hander, going into a left-hander, right?
Yep.
And so George was on the outside, had established himself within the length of Lewis's car around the outside. Mm-hmm. And Lewis, in traffic behind another car, turned into George while George was on the inside headed towards the next corner. So George was going around the outside and they wrecked, headed towards the corner where George would have been on the inside.
Interesting. I'm rewatching.
Because the wreck happened basically right during the corner. During the right-hander corner where Lewis kind of drifted out, okay. So objectively, George was there. Lewis moved a little too far to the left and wrecked George. Now, what Lewis Hamilton argued, what Ferrari argued, and the reason that a lot of people believe that Lewis didn't deserve a penalty is that you're in a series of corners where Lewis had already established his line. You're in traffic. You can't necessarily change the way that you were going. So yes, Lewis went towards George, but there was nothing else he could have done. It was an aggressive move at a time where you can't really make that stick. as Lewis said over the radio, like he had no front because of the car in front of him. And so, and I think even in the steward's note, it was like that he had understeer because, of where he was, and that caused him to wreck. But then even the stewards noted that there was a plethora of extenuating circumstances that meant that he only got a 5-second penalty instead of the typical 10 for causing a collision. But it's still clearly Lewis going towards George, even if there are so many reasons you could argue Lewis really couldn't have helped it.
Yeah, I think also that, like, yes, George was, at that point, he was technically ahead, but I feel like that dive down, or the dive, wherever you want to look at it, the outside, the inside, I feel like that was too aggressive. Like, if you
could argue.
Yeah, what?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, had he waited a couple of corners, he probably would have had a straight shot at Lewis and would have passed him easily. So, I just feel like it's too aggressive to move in the first lap.
I don't necessarily disagree. It was an aggressive move, but as we've seen this season, it feels like everyone needs to make aggressive moves to prevent the pass and repass. Like, so many moves are happening at places you wouldn't expect them. Even here, I think it was it Piastri and Lewis, who, like, Piastri made a high-speed pass up Eau Rouge. And people were like, ain't no way he did that. Like, basically on the broadcast, the announcers were saying as much. Like, that's just racing this year, is making those kind of moves. But again, you could easily argue that because they're in traffic and because it's a series of corners where you set your line ahead of time, that there's nothing Lewis could have done to help it. But it's still, George was there, aggressive move or not.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Checo will go in the
He will go in
Cadillac here. He's going in the Aston Cadillac tier. Can't do much about that. Charles.
He got out qualified by Valtteri for once, I guess.
This is true.
Like,
he did get out qualified.
I guess that's bad. But also Cadillac.
Yeah. Cadillac go Burr. Charles, I'll let you get this Charles one, Jack.
I would put him in S, but behind Hadjar.
Okay.
Not out of disrespect for what Charles did. He had a wonderful race. I just really think that Hadjar had a really great day and deserves to be appreciated for that.
Yeah.
I mean, Charles came as close as anyone could to preventing the Kimi win. Obviously, stronger day than his teammate by the closest of margins in qualifying. Put him in a better spot to fight at the beginning of the race, and then managed to parlay that into fighting for the lead among Kimi and Max. Ended up settling into second, and then... Well, wait, he did settle into second, right?
Yeah. He settled into...
He
settled into first, and then Kimi passed him, then he settled into second very well.
Oh, no, I mean, I think he actually settled into third, because Max was trying to prevent the undercut and pitted early.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm...
But then
like...
Kimi pit, and then the safety car, or VSC.
Yeah.
And
so the first VSC, induced by gravel, came out, and they did exactly what they said they were going to do, which was throw the VSC to make sure that the stewards had enough time to get the gravel, but time it in such a way that it doesn't affect anyone's pit stops. And they did a brilliant job of that the first time. So then Kimi pits. Then the second VSC comes out, and they do not do a brilliant job. They leave the VSC out for a much longer time because it looks like the marshal ran out and then didn't get the gravel and had to sprint back to like clear the track in time for cars to come by, and then had to go back out a second time later. I don't know exactly what happened, but the second VSC stays out much, much longer, which allows the Ferraris to benefit from that timing. Charles, unlike his teammate, had no penalty to serve and was able to come out in first. But only by a few seconds over Kimi, because Spa isn't really the longest and harshest pit road in the first place.
Yeah.
But Kimi managed to get back by. It's a track where straight line speed matters enough that seemed inevitable, but Charles did really all you could ask in that car.
Yeah. I will say the Ferrari is looking good. We'll talk about Lewis later, because I think he had a great drive as well, outside of the original penalty. But
I mean, all season they've been the second best car. It's just that the power unit deficit to the Mercedes powered cars and even Red Bull at times, although obviously Red Bull's speed was hampered by them being so far overweight. But there are some tracks, Spa included, where straight line speed makes it really hard to having a straight line speed deficit makes it really hard to defend. Like, there's a reason that all the cars at the back of the grid try to run like lower downforce setups when they're in a place where they can fight, so that they can try to stay competitive on the straights. And then, oh no, if we're so slow through the corners, then too bad, you can't really pass us there anyway. And Ferrari's doing the opposite, where they can set great lap time, but when it comes time to actually defend, it's really hard on a lot of these tracks to defend when someone can blow by you on a straight.
Yeah. Engine upgrade coming soon, though. Second one.
Yeah, well, theoretically, Mercedes has one coming too.
Damn.
Right.
Next up, we have Oscar Piastri. Finished 5th. I think it's a good B tier. I think it's above the other two. You can put him A if you really want, but like, it wasn't like spectacular, but it wasn't like a bad drive. You know, it's kind of like a.
I think it's tough because I think objectively, right? Okay, he qualified behind the Mercedes, behind the Ferraris, in a McLaren that wasn't expecting much this weekend. That's brilliant. But Lando was 2/10 ahead of him in qualifying. And then in the race, they were only separated by like 6 seconds, even though Lando had to start from the back. Right? And Lando didn't benefit from the safety car either. Like, he ended up pitting, and not only that, had a bad pit stop that made that entire gap of time all over again. Yeah. Where I think that Oscar overall had a perfectly fine weekend, but I think that unfortunately he kind of got pantsed by Lando, where I think that B, maybe even top of B, but I wouldn't put him higher than B.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, Valtteri into the Aston and Cadillac section.
Hey, put him above Sergio.
You're right. You don't screw it. You're going above Lance too.
Oh yeah.
Lando Norris.
I would put him in A. I don't know where in A. I might put him behind Lindblad, but leave him there. I don't know where you would think.
Yeah, I was thinking A. It wasn't like a drive to put you in S, because after he pit, he did settle down, but
yeah,
that first stint
and do keep in mind that was like an 8-second pit stop.
Yeah,
and wasn't under the VSC. Like, he really got
shafted.
He switched power units before the weekend, knew he was taking a grid drop, and then shot all the way to P3 in qualifying. Really brilliant qualifying session by him. Looked really fast consistently. And then in the race, starts from the back, leads the race for a time, pit stop sucks, starting from the back, all these things, and still is within a few seconds of his teammate. Like, it's definitely, and also keep in mind, like, Hadjar did finish ahead of him, and we do have to appreciate what Hadjar did. But it's not like you could have asked much more, but he didn't set himself apart the way like Isaac Hadjar maybe did.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like after he came out of the pits, he wasn't like, I feel like he wasn't as fast as he was in the first stint. Like, his second stint was definitely slower than his first stint, which didn't help.
Which is funny when he was on mediums and everyone else was on hards at that point.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe the first stint just seemed more impressive because he was on hards, like on theoretically worse tires to everyone. But
yeah,
I don't know.
It wasn't a bad drive, but not spectacular. Fernando Alonso, you can go below Valtteri in Aston Cadillac category. No notes. Your car sucks. It's not your fault. Then we have Max Verstappen.
I wouldn't. So I'm hesitant to put him in S. I think that when you count qualifying, like, I think that qualifying P2 is impressive. Although the Red Bull has clearly been much improved.
Mm-hmm.
But in the race, he just clearly couldn't keep up with Mercedes and Ferrari, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was competitive in the early stages, but I think it's telling that he finished like 10 seconds behind Charles.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yes, we just appreciated Isaac Hadjar, who ended up finishing like 12 seconds behind his teammate in Max, but I don't want to say that I'm penalizing him for being Max Verstappen, but like, when you're Max, I'm expecting more than that, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like, and to his credit, it felt like he was running his own race in a world where Lewis could have theoretically been chasing him down from behind in a faster Ferrari. Mm-hmm. And he did put the car P2 in qualifying. But I just kind of expected a little bit better, and he didn't really set himself apart as like, this wasn't like an S tier Max drive. This was just like okay, sure, he's the number one driver for Red Bull drive.
Mm-hmm. So would you put him top of A? Would you put him?
I'll be honest. I think that I would put him below Arvid. I think that qualifying specifically, Arvid really impressed me, just in the sense that he really was acting like one of the big dogs. Mm-hmm. And it was really funny to me just kind of watching him do that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he was competitive with the Mercedes in the first two qualifying sessions, and he certainly acted like it. But I don't know where I'd put him compared to Lando. I think ahead of Lando probably makes sense.
I think so too. I think it was a fine drive, but it wasn't like S tier.
Yeah.
Our final driver is Lewis Hamilton. Now, I am very biased, so I am going to tell you two options where I'd put him, and you tell me where you want him, or even if you have a third option. First option I'm thinking is bottom of S. Second is top of A. Because
I don't know. I don't know about either of those.
I don't exactly know. Like, maybe. I don't.
No, go ahead.
So, my whole thing with Lewis, and I'll put him at top of A for now, and we can move him if we please. But Lewis had a fine race in the beginning. It was actually not that good of a race in the beginning. Collided with George, got wing damage, 5-second penalty, pit under the VSC with the 5-second penalty. Still came out pretty low. Was looking horrible for that little bit of a second stint. And then in the kind of like middle endish, turned it on. Like vintage Hamilton, even with the wing damage that they weren't able to repair. And
if I may,
yeah,
vintage Hamilton feels really disrespectful to actual vintage Hamilton.
Well, what I mean by that
is but he was nowhere near vintage Hamilton.
Okay. I should say 2023 Hamilton. Is that better?
I'll take 2023.
Okay.
Sure.
Because he was like 8 seconds behind Piastri at one point, and quickly made work of that 8-second lead, passed him, and then started working on Verstappen, although he wasn't able to reach him by the end of the race. With the penalty.
I will add, there was a reason that they chose not to fix. I say fix in quotes, like chose not to modify Lewis's front wing.
Yeah.
Oscar was missing carbon fiber from his incident with Charles Leclerc, and his pace noticeably dropped off from after that incident. Mm-hmm. He was noticeably behind the Ferraris in pace. He didn't really get a head-to-head with Lando, but Lando was definitely faster for the balance, just had to pay the price of positioning and a bad pit stop. But like Oscar was kind of suffering from the state of his car.
Yeah. I'll also say but Oscar was after Lewis pit, Oscar was gaining time. Like he was widening the gap, and then all of a sudden, poof, the gap went bye-bye. But it's not like a bad drive from Hamilton. It's just made a mistake, got a penalty, served the penalty, had damage. It was a fine race from him, but it wasn't like
I mean,
spectacular.
you can appreciate that he got past Piastri and that he
Yeah.
ended up finishing, P4.
Yeah.
But I think that on the balance, I don't understand how you justify top of A when he was out qualified by his teammate, when he caused an incident and was penalized for it, and then, in the second fastest car was still behind like a Max. And obviously, the way that the race played out and serving the penalty, you're going to be behind Max anyway. But like, I would probably put him on par with or below Lando in A tier. Like, I don't think it was a bad race by him.
What was the incident with Oscar and Charles? 'Cause I never saw that.
It was kind of similar. Charles hit Oscar. It was actually kind of similar in setup. I'm pretty sure Oscar was on the outside. Or no, wait, Oscar was on the inside, right? Because it was Charles's right front that hit Oscar's like body work.
No.
On kind of the left side.
Oscar on the outside. Is this?
Oh, it was the outside of a left-hander?
Yeah. Oh no, right outside of a right-hander. Okay. It was right after a Rouge. And they're on the straight. And Piastri's gaining on Charles. And then going into the corner, Charles hits Piastri. Like
now
drives into him.
If I may,
yeah.
I thought that incident with Charles was more deserving of a penalty than Lewis's.
I agree.
And I have made it clear that I understand why Lewis got a penalty.
I don't know how he didn't get a penalty though. That's nuts. Because
I am shocked that Charles didn't.
That's fully on Charles. Like he fully moved into Oscar.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
you know what? Can I say it? Lewis has said it before. I'm going to say it for him again. Play the clip.
He's stupid.
Why do you think you're so magnetic to the stewards? Why do you think that you obviously feel that you're being targeted?
Maybe it's because I'm black. That's what LAG says. I don't know.
Oh, it's the clip where like some reporters like why do you think you're a magnet to the stewards? And he goes, maybe it's because I'm black.
Oh.
And it was young Hamilton. It was like young McLaren Hamilton who said that. I was just like, yeah. Not wrong. He's not wrong. Maybe that's the reason why Charles didn't get a penalty, and he did.
Could be true.
It could be true. It could be true.
No, but I think that there are ways that you can, choose to see them differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, Lewis, I feel like maybe it's wrong to expect him to expect a good weekend from Lewis to involve outdoing Charles at any point. But, even without the penalty, really, he was kind of behind Charles on the weekend.
Yeah. Fair. Next week next week. Is it next week? No, it's 2 weeks.
Hungary is the next race.
Yeah, I know, but is it 2 weeks from now or a week from now? It is
next week.
Next week. It is next week. Vintage Hamilton incoming. 10th pole position incoming.
Well, Hungary is a slower track, right?
I believe so.
Could very well be.
Yeah. I'm excited though. Remember what happened in 2023? Just saying. Might be the GOAT. But yeah, do you have any issues with the list? Looking back at it.
I feel like A is crowded, but yeah. I think that's fine. I think that I just tend to like to cluster B and C more, which you would know having seen my drivers tier list.
Yeah, I have. Yes.
But no, I think it's largely fine. I think it's about how I'd order it. I think that you could definitely see it as being too harsh on Max and Lewis, but I think that they're both champions, and I think that there's a reason for expecting more from them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Valtteri fans rise up, top of the Aston and Cadillac bunch.
Yeah. 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 Valtteri. Genuinely, I think that Monaco penalty is gonna haunt Cadillac.
Bro,
Was it Monaco?
Cadillac
I think it was Monaco.
points will happen and they will feed families.
Yeah, it was Monaco. Dude, that Monaco penalty is gonna haunt Cadillac so bad. Because they're most likely going to finish dead last now because Perez got a penalty when he was in 10th.
Hey, but that gave Aston a point.
Yeah, which is why it's gonna haunt Cadillac. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't see either of those teams getting another point the remainder of the season, unless
That does mean
half
that
the
for
grid
now.
wrecked.
Does mean that for now Alonso is head of Hulkenberg in the standings, which
That's
is truly
hilarious.
incredible.
Vintage Fernando Alonso though. Not really, but
All 1 point.
all 1
Vintage
point.
Alonso,
Vintage
1 point.
Alonso, 1 point. He's doing his best in a car that's god awful. So, anyway,
Yeah.
that's the
Looking forward
tier
to
list.
Hungary, and then we get some time off.
Yeah. No time off. No. But
Summer break goes basically until classes start back up for me.
dang. Wait, it
Yeah,
is a month
Zandvoort
long,
is August 21st. Is the start of the Zandvoort weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty much when school starts for me too. Dang. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want to be reminded that school's gonna start again. I don't want to go back. I have a semester left. I don't want to go back. I don't care anymore. But yeah, that's the tier list. Let us know what you change in the comments below. Thank you, Jack, for coming on here. And see you next time.
Bye.